Catherine, I love you. Great video that you did there in the court. However, I'm sorry. I do see that there was probably some more stuff that happened there, and I'm more than happy to talk to you about it in the public. But that video before was not so great. Anyway, this is the video of where Josh is yelling at the police officers here, and it's simply because Terry is inside. So you're dealing with all these videos are from the same sort of stuff that's going on one time in London, which I covered quite a bit through Grasshopper Media, and all of it happened around the same time. So it's not really this big Canada-wide problem. I don't know why it's on the National.
Communist China, that's what you guys are acting like right now.
All part of a script Freemen follow worldwide, what they believe is a formula for avoiding taxes, mortgages.
Let's fix this skip here.
Evidencing our ownership in Canada.
So this works.
Is engaging in travel, you're going from point A to point.
This movement seems to attract more script Freemen follow worldwide, what they believe is a formula for avoiding taxes, mortgages, utility bills.
Fines and summons.
Property can be seized.
The man some consider a leader of the Freeman movement, Robert Menard.
They've hijacked the country, the banking system, and the courts and the justice system, and we have to do something about it.
The warmongers use our money.
Confident man. This movement seems to attract more followers the worse the economy becomes. Some think it offers a way out. Script Freemen follow worldwide, what they believe is a formula for avoiding followers the worse the economy becomes. Some think it offers a way out of financial despair.
This is our boy Dan Dix on the side there, filming the entire interview. So you can watch the entire interview on pressfortruth.ca. He's a wonderful man. Thank you very much for doing us the service of filming the entire interview, as I did with Richard Gage in Montreal, to show how CBC does just simply clip out and put in whatever it is that they want in order to formulate the plot of whatever story it is that they were assigned to do.
Don't pay income tax. I have no obligation to pay income tax. And what most people fail to realize is when you work and you get paid a wage, that's not even really income.
And licensing cars? Apparently unnecessary too.
So you're saying you don't need a driver's license?
If all you're doing is engaging in travel, you're going from point A to point B, and you are not engaging in commerce on the highway, that's public roads, it's public highway, and no, you do not need a license to do it.
For the record, for my family there, just, Rob, I don't like your sweater.
Confused yet? It gets worse. Freeman claimed the numbers on your birth certificate correspond with a secret trust account.
No, they don't. Okay, the numbers on the birth certificate don't correspond with the secret account necessarily. I don't know. I don't care, really. The truth of the matter is that the birth certificate is not identification. You're not supposed to use it. It says that you're not supposed to use it. You use it for everything. You used it to get your license. Every time you use your license, it's all being referenced back to that number, okay? Your parents signed their names to a contract, entering you into this world, giving you title. And should you not use that title and instead use a title that the government issued to you, then you are no longer using the title or the legacy from your family. Now you are using the government-issued legal fiction. Okay? It's just that simple. There is no account. When you try and find money, all that sort of stuff, it's all impossible to say at this point. If anybody has any reference to those kind of things, go right ahead and squander them around on the internet, but there's no validity to any of it. So basically it's just an understanding that this birth certificate right here is not what you're supposed to use.
Learn how to access it, and money or property is yours.
So what does that number correspond to in your mind?
I would be willing to bet that will correspond with a security, like a stock security, a stock certificate evidencing our ownership in Canada.
So this works?
Yeah, I found it works.
Not so fast. The Department of Finance calls these schemes myths. The RCMP issues internal warnings to officers about Freeman. Courts train on handling Freeman outbursts, but somehow believers still sign up.
That memo was issued during the time of Farmer George's indictment up in Owen Sound, Ontario. fantastic timing on that memo coming out. Also, there was affidavits put forward at that same time saying that many people were actually considered freemen on the land, and George actually was arrested under the premise that he was associated with the freemen on the land. Not arrested for that reason, but that was definitely one of the notes on the file.
John Morhunis certainly did. His interest started when, strapped for cash, he heard friends talking about Freeman. Then he did a little online research. The smooth-talking Menard hooked him, he said, completely and catastrophically.
I've suffered greatly, my family has, because we bought into this.
I wonder if Grasshopper Media will be granted an interview with this guy. I will be contacting him very shortly.
But in the beginning, he was excited. With encouragement of Freeman, he and his fiancée believed they'd found a way to take this empty North Bay house and move into it. As persistently advised, they put a notice in the paper, filed what Freeman call a claim of right with the police, and thought the house would be theirs. No need to pay.
He didn't inform the Department of Agriculture or anything that would really make any sense, and a claim of right really has no bearing on land unless you're filing that claim of right with the Department of Agriculture. The Crown basically needs to know. It's just, you got to think about what you're doing. You don't just do what they tell you to do. Whoever it is that tells you to do it is they're just telling you what to do. So this guy, poor guy, don't get pushed into doing anything. If anybody's pushing you, you shouldn't be listening.
Smart guy. How did you fall for that?
Fall. Didn't stand.
Over time, things start sounding good. It's a gradual process. It's drilled into the people that watch these videos the same way. Repetition. It's basic brainwashing.
It's a slow process.
And it was too good to be true. Days after squatting in the house, police pounced. The Freeman formula for success did not work. They were charged, jailed, and embarrassed.
Because the bank had already filed all of the appropriate notice, and all he had done is posted a notice on the door.
How dare they do this to me? Not the police, but the Freemen. How dare they take my life from me because it was them. And they're convincing, and they're prodding, and they're pushing.
A hard lesson learned, but really just the beginning of the Canadian cautions. Because there are dimensions to this movement that go far beyond the need for a new warning of fresh scams. The Freeman movement may seem new in Canada, but travel south to the United States and you'll find that it's been building for a very long time. Here, the Freemen are known as sovereigns. It's economic despair that fuels their fury, and that rage here has turned murderous. For decades, sovereigns, livid with government, have targeted official buildings.
I'm sorry. That was Oklahoma bombing. Okay? That guy wasn't a free man on the land or anything like that, or a sovereign. Yeah, sure, maybe he was anti-government. I'd say. Plus, there's also so many weird things about that. Not to mention, you should look into it. William Cooper met with him just the day before it happened. He came to his house with somebody else, and this somebody else seemed to be the guy who was doing it. Anyway, I think this is Rosewood?
Police, anyone with authority. Timothy McVeigh, who helped blow up the Oklahoma Federal Building, was a sovereign citizen.
Sure.
So was Joe Stack, who flew...
He was also a truther, apparently. So is it all smart people? I'm not saying he's smart. I'm not saying he's good. I'm not saying what he did was right. If somebody writes down some stuff like that, all of a sudden anybody who thinks the same way is... What's going on here? Thought police?
...was playing into an IRS building in Texas. More frequent have been shootings. At least a dozen officers have been killed by sovereigns. Nearly 19 hurt in shootouts with sovereigns and other anti-government extremists since 2009.